Hello kids, my name is Tim the Beekeeper. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about bees today, honeybees and we're going to have a chance to go out and look at my equipment and see a hive that's in action. It's a new hive that was started this year. But before we do that, I'd like to have a little fun with some fun facts about honeybees. Okay, children, how many legs do you think a bee has? Is it 1, 4, 6, 8, or 10? Well, for those of you that guessed 6, you're right. Now I'm going to ask you another question about bees. How many wings do you think a honeybee has? Is it 2 wings, 3 wings, or 4 wings? Well, those of you who guessed 4, you're right again. And the last question I have is, how many eyes do you think a honeybee has? Is it 3? Is it 2? Or is it 5? Well, it's unusual, but they do actually have 5 eyes. We're going to take a break now, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why bees are important in just a second. Well, kids, what you see is a jar of honey. And when you think of honeybees, what do you think about? Well, you probably think only about honey. But did you know that bees pollinate? And that's really why they are so important to our societies, because they pollinate different plants. There are many vegetables and fruits that you eat on a daily basis that if you didn't have honeybees, the pollination would not allow you to eat those plants. Welcome back. I'm going to talk to you a little bit now about the beekeeping equipment. What is filling up the screen with smoke is something we call a smoker. It helps us when we go into a hive to visit with the bees, to calm them down and make them less buzzy and want to sting us. Here we can see a pair of beekeeper gloves and a beekeeper's net. Hello kids, I'm back again. I'm looking at the beehives in my backyard. You can notice that I've got a fence around the beehive, and the fence is designed to keep the bears out, because in this part of Wisconsin, in Somerset, Wisconsin, we have bears, and they love the honey from the beehives. Well, I want to tell you a little bit about a colony of bees which is in the beehive. They can have 60,000 bees in one hive. That's a whole lot of bees. And there's only going to be one queen bee in there. 60,000 bees, most of them will be worker bees, and then there will be a few drone bees. This time of year, they are collecting pollen, which is something we talked about from before about being pollinators. So I'm going to go up to the hive at the entrance, and you can watch the bees flying in and seeing how busy they are. And if you look really close, you may see even some pollen on the legs of the bees as they go into the hive. This is the one entrance into the beehive. And look at all the bees going in and out. If you look at their legs, you might see some white spots on their legs, and that's pollen that they've gathered from the nearby trees and are carrying it into the hive. Well, kids, we're going to go into the hive. What I'm going to do, though, is before I go in, is I'm going to take a little bit of smoke, and just to calm them down, if you can see this, I'm going to spray a little bit of smoke in here, and that just, a puff of smoke or two, makes the bees not as wild or concerned about me being in the hive. I'm opening the cover to the hive, and what you'll see is a pail turned upside down. Well, at the beginning, because their flowers are not in bloom yet, we are going to give them sugar water, and that allows them to eat until the flowers come in. So I'm going to lift this up, and what do we see here? We see a bunch of bees, and they're all busy as can be. I'm going to just smoke them just a little bit more, and that will calm them down. Next, I'm grabbing my tool, which is a hive tool. Now remember, we talked about that there's could be 60,000 bees in our hive. I'm going to lift this up and take this box off. And next I'm going to pop the top lid off, and you're going to probably hear some buzzing, but I'm going to smoke them one more time. Ooh, listen to those bees buzzing, and look at the bees inside the hive. Inside the hive there are either 9 or 10 frames, and a frame is where they build comb and store their honey and their pollen and other things that they eat. I'm going to take this off, which is a pollen patty, because they're probably making enough of their own pollen that they don't need a pollen patty. So what I'm going to do is go into the hive. I'm going to smoke them one more time, and inside here is one queen. A hive can only have one queen, and she can lay up to sometimes 1,600 to 2,000 eggs a day, and it takes 21 days for a baby bee become another bee, a full-grown bee. So I'm going to separate these out, and I'm going to pull out a frame, and we're going to see what we see on this frame. I'm going to put on my other glove, so hang on for 1 second. First, I wanted to show you what a frame looked like when there's no comb. It's just the base, because the bees will actually take and make comb from the foundation or the frame of this frame. And if we look, you can count. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 frames in this hive. And look at all of the bees. I'm going to separate this a little bit and pull this frame out, and you can see, what are they doing? Lots of bees, and they're making comb on the frames. And if we look really close, you can see how their comb is what shape? It's 6-sided, so it's a hexagon. I'm going to take out one more frame just so you can see a few more bees. Bees are starting to fly a little bit. I might just smoke them one more time. Give them a little bit. Ooh, listen to them buzz. And look at all the bees. On there you can see those are capped cells, and the inside there is nectar, and they probably have filled it up with sugar water. Well, kids, it's been fun talking to you about honeybees. You have a great day, and remember, when you see bees out there, realize that they're very important. Don't think about just how they think that they only want to come out and sting you, but they actually pollinate and make honey. Thank you very much for spending some time with me.